Hi guys, welcome to Punneit's Astrology. This is another video on the transit series of Sun in different houses. My previous video was when the Sun moved into the sign of Scorpio. Tomorrow, Sun is going to move into the sign of Sagittarius. Why this transit of Sun is special, we will try to find it out. But before that, do not forget to hit the subscribe button because it's the subscription that keeps you and me stay connected. And for consultations, you can definitely contact me. The details are in the description box below. Do not forget to hit the like button and comment for your views and your suggestions. Your suggestions are welcome. And once again, do not forget to hit the subscribe, that red button below. Smash that button. So now coming to the transit of Sun in the sign of Sagittarius. We have Saturn placed in the Purvashad Nakshatra in the Sagittarius. And Sun is right now moving through the Gandanta point of Jyeshtha Nakshatra in Scorpio. And it is going to join the Mool Nakshatra. So initially, the Sun will go to the Gandamul position of the Sagittarius, and then it will move ahead, join Saturn, and then pass. It will take 1 month for the Sun to move from 16th December till the 16th of 14th or 15th of January, I think, so, till Makar Sankranti. Now, what are the implications of this Sun transit, and why this transit is going to be a very important transit? Now, before that, let me explain you briefly about what happens when Sun transits over Saturn, or what happens when Sun transits with Saturn. So that 1 month of a period, you will have a huge conflict between Saturn and Sun in the transit. Wherever they will sit, they will create some sort of chaos in that house. But this chaos is not to make your life difficult, but this chaos is to make you understand. It's like purification of soul. So Sun, who is the Karaka of soul, goes along with the planet of purification, which is Saturn, the karmic purification. So when the soul meets the purification, it's like re-enlightenment. So you must have felt that you know something in life, but right now it's the time to rethink and reassess whatever situations you have in your life, and you will go under an intense program of this Saturn-Sun conjunction to make you redevelop yourself, reanalyze your soul, and recharge yourself in a altogether different way. This transit of Sun plus Saturn is going to be a path revealing transit. It's going to be a secret revealing transit for you. Why this is happening? Because Saturn in Purvashad Nakshatra is already in a very practical state. Sun, who was in Scorpio, is going from a deep underground watery sign to its most favorable sign of gods, the sign of divine blessing, the natural 9th house. And in one way from Kalpurush, if you see, Sun is 5th from the natural 5th house. So this is the Bhavad Bhavam for the Kalpurush zodiac. So definitely Sun in Sagittarius is very, very powerful. But because it is with Saturn, the dark side of things will come first, and then it will reveal itself that it was positive for you. So anything happens at this 1 month, don't try to push your ego. Don't try to take everything on yourself. Don't try to be very sensitive and take most of the things on yourself. It's not like everyone is trying to blame you. But you may, for the time, feel that you're getting defamed. For the time being, you may feel that things are not coming up the way you expected, but that's okay. Now, this is a very generic way of saying whatever I'm saying in this video. Obviously, the details will be dependent upon your own planetary conditions. This transit will affect most to the people of Sagittarius and Leo zodiac, and especially if you already have either Sun or Saturn or both in the sign of Sagittarius. Definitely the Saturn-Sun conjunction over Sagittarius is definitely going to re-transform yourself. Why I'm using this word called re is because Saturn was already transforming you in many ways. Now when Sun goes into this place, the entire way, the entire productivity line, the entire approach process towards life is going to shatter, and then it will reappear in a altogether different way. So this is a metamorphic phase, a small 1 month, 30-day period where you may see different kind of changes in life, and you may also see that you are not being valued in a subtle way, but you will see that things are not appearing good with the supervisors, with the boss, with the authority. Don't try to confront them. This is the time to be humble. This is the time to stay silent. This is the time to keep working on what you think is correct, because Saturn will guide your soul. Remember, Sun is going in the sign of Sagittarius. Sagittarius is good for both Saturn and Sun. So overall, whatever happens with you is actually going to be good for you. Let us briefly discuss about how this is going to be for different ascendants. And I get a lot of questions like my videos are based on ascendant or moon sign. Let me be very clear on this. My ascendant videos are based on ascendant, but you can also take these videos on the basis of moon sign. How? If you take it by ascendant, the video comes out as a physical appearance of whatever planets are there, physical execution of the energies of planets. When you consider this from moon, it will be an emotional analysis or psychological analysis. So same thing will happen, but from a psychological perspective. For example, if I say that marriage is going to happen because of this transit for some natives, this means if it is happening from ascendant, in reality, marriage can be a possibility. It can fructify. But for the different person who have a Rashi sign, it means that he may feel like getting married. It will be a psychological effect. For Aries people, Sun and Saturn is going to be in the 9th house, time to follow the dharma, time to recorrect your approach process, time to recorrect the productivity process. How do you take your life? You have to be more disciplined. You have to be more methodical. You have to be more practical. And you just cannot avoid things which is illegal. So be very careful in being the rightful law-abiding citizen. And this should do for you. If you have any problem that you face in this time, practical approach and realizing the reality of the fact is the only way you can pass this time. For Taurus people, for Taurus ascendants, Sun and Saturn is actually going to be in your 8th house. So this will be more of an occult understanding, a sudden transformation, because what happens here is that for you, the 4th house lord goes into the 8th house. Sudden investment in home can happen, and you may see sudden fight in your home, a sudden depending upon your horoscope. So you may also feel that there is a need to change something in your home, maybe by environment, maybe by renovation. This thing can happen. Not a good time to invest though, because Sun and Saturn can create conflict in investment. Whatever you think at this time, think of the long term, the long-term effect of your actions. So don't take short-term methods unless your horoscope really allows you to do that. For Gemini people, what happens in case of Gemini is, for the Gemini, it happens on the 7th house. So dispute in marriage can come. Recorrection methods you must take if your marriage is not going correct. In case of business also, if you're thinking that your business is not going perfect, this is the time where you recorrect your actions. 3rd house lord goes into the rectification mode when along with the Saturn. So correct yourself, correct your actions, and don't do anything through ego, anger, or don't take anything on self-esteem always. Try to ignore and act when necessary. For the Cancer ascendant people, Sun and Saturn is going to be on the 6th house. Now, 2nd house lord is going to be in the 6th house. This means that it may happen that you may have to spend some money on diseases. Repayment of loan will happen. Savings for this month, you may not get a lot of savings. You may not be able to do savings in this month because of repayment of loans or spending money on diseases, spending money to clear off some disputes in your life. But that's okay. It's just there to clear off anything which is negative in front of you. Do that, go with the flow. Things should be good for you. For Leo ascendant, Saturn and Sun conjunction is going to be in the 5th house. Your ascendant lord is going under a purification process. So this means that since the 1st house lord and the 7th house lord is getting combined in the 5th house, a lifelong karmic partnership is expected. Now, this also means that if your marriage is going under a problem, if you're not being enough romantic, if you're not being enough productive, if something is going wrong with your child, all these things can be corrected just by being practical, down to earth, and understanding the fact acceptance is the key for you. For the Virgo ascendant people, Saturn and Sun conjunction is going to be on the 4th house. Now, 12th house lord goes into the 4th house. This means it may happen that people who live in a different location can come back to their home due to any reason. And this also means that in your home, there can be some fight or quarrel, which will be very temporary, but this will impact your mind, impact your subconscious mind, and it will alter the course of your life. So don't take this transit very lightly. This transit is going to not only impact your home, but also your career, because the direct aspect goes into the 10th house. For the Libra ascendant, in case of the Libra ascendant, Sun and Saturn is going to be in the 3rd house. Now, what happens when the Sun moves into the 3rd house? Your 11th house lord goes into the 3rd house. kind of good. This means you will act to balance out your money. You will act more for source of income. This also means that you will not get results the way you think you should get, but this does not mean that you will stop working. Keep on doing the karma. You will definitely get your results. Don't get frustrated, because whatever you do today is going to get very much beneficial when Sun moves into the sign of Capricorn. Now, coming to the sign of Scorpio, Scorpio will see Sun and Saturn conjunction in the second house. Very, very typical transit for you guys, because you should be very careful with what you eat and what you talk. Second house, eat, talk, invest. These three things should be dealt very carefully. Be quiet, chant mantras, and definitely you should take care of your health. For the sign of Sagittarius, it is happening on your own ascendant or your own Rashi. This is definitely going to be a huge transforming period for you. Your ninth house lord is going in the first house. That means it is going to establish dharma. So anything that is not dharmic you were doing will just get stopped or scrapped, or at least you will get a nudge, push to do in a dharmic path. Religious travel is advised, going to temple, doing puja, and helping people, because Sun and Saturn is service to humanity, a king who serves others. So be a king who is ready to serve the common man. For the Capricorn ascendant, Sun and Saturn is going to be in your 12th house. In this case, what happens is that your 8th house lord and the first house lord is in the 12th house. Not a good transit, because the two houses indicate some trouble related to your life that will impact your sleep, that will impact your subconscious mind, and something will trouble you all the time. Something will be there in your mind all the time. You should be careful with that. Don't play in the hands of people who want to ruin your life. Stay focused and do not detract from the path you are following. Hopefully, you will win this path. And in this case, you should chant Gayatri Mantra in a very strong way, and also pray to Saturn to show the right path. Bless is your life, because you are going to get the maximum purification of soul. For the Aquarius ascendant, what happens in case of Aquarius? Sun and Saturn conjunction happens to be in the 11th house. 7th house lord goes into the 11th house. Again, the first house lord and the 7th house lord falls in the 11th house. Gain of marriage. If marriage happens at this time, or at least you meet your life partner at this time, you are definitely going to cherish that moment forever. It is going to be a practical time for you. There can be some difficulties in from the source of income, like means from your career, from your business. So don't try to do something fancy at this time. Be very careful, very calculative, and don't take any course of action through ego. Do not speak any harsh words to any servant, any poor person. Try to help them, because this 11th house also means wish fulfillment. So you understand the energy of Sun and Saturn of a king helping others, and your wish will be fulfilled. And finally comes the Pisces. For the Pisces, Sun and Saturn conjunction happens to be in the 10th house. Now, Sun becomes Digbali in the 10th house. Sun is very, very strong for Pisces in the 10th house. So what happens in this case is 6th house lord goes in the 10th house. Suddenly the career comes into a great position. This also means your role can change, your career can change. Something will happen with the boss that can change, that may push you to go into a different role, a different zone altogether, a different career, maybe a career shift. So if you're looking for any career kind of change, this is the time. So for Pisces, it is going to be a very uplifting, a very positive transit. So thank you guys. Thank you. That's it. A very brief analysis. Now, I know I'm not discussing this in detail, because any transit of Sun, Moon, Mars, Venus, and Mercury happens to be not more than 40 days or 45 days. In this case, it will be very difficult to make you understand a transit which is only for 45 days. So try to understand. I have given this ascendant-wise transit, but this ascendant-wise analysis is basically good if you take a consultation and ask an astrologer to not only take an assessment for 1 month, but take an assessment for next 3 to 6 months, because that will be more helpful for you. So thank you guys. Thank you for watching Punneit's astrology video. This is a quick video on Sun and Saturn conjunction and Sun transit into the sign of Sagittarius. Stay tuned for more videos. Do hit the bell icon, because that will notify you whenever I will upload a video. Watch my other videos, and if you have anything you want to contact me, description box is there. My details are there. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, WhatsApp, email, everything is in this description box below. Thank you guys.